Welcome to the GraphCAT community building event. This morning we are going to spend 4 hours working in building this new community. The event is going to have 2 parts. The first part is open to a wider audience. And the second part, we will work with knowledge technology transfer, and we'll try to co-create a new event for the opening days. The introduction we are going to start with is going to be made by Jose Antonio Garrido from ICN2 and Frank Coppens from ICFO. So that's the beginning of this nice event. I hope you enjoy. I hope you stay with us all the time that lasts, because we're going to have nice presentations, nice discussions, and we are going to learn a lot. So I'm introducing Jose Antonio Garrido. He'll be now with us. I'm Frank Coppens. I'm going to ask you two if you can share your presentation so everybody can see the material and the talk that you want to give to us. We are just waiting to see you in a screen. So someone is saying that you don't hear, we don't have a good audio. Hello. I was introducing this GraphCAT community building event. If we could check that everybody is following and listening. If you could, we could double check before we give the word to Jose Antonio and Frank, who are going to be introducing.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we are sharing now. So if everything is okay and everybody is hearing us, we have no confirmation of any other trouble, then we let you we talk. Thank you, Jose.
Okay, thank you very much, Irene. First, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first, actually the first community building event of GraphCAT. So it's a pleasure to be here and that you all are joining us. So in the name of Frank Coppens from ICFO and myself from ICN2, we are happy to have you here. So the introduction is going to be just very quick about reminding you, because some of you are not part of the GraphCAT community, what the GraphCAT community is, and then we will proceed with the community building event. So GraphCAT is one of the emerging communities that has been within the RISC-3CAT programming of the Generalitat. So it aims at establishing Catalonia as one of the international hubs for graphene research development and technology innovation. So we realized early on that in Catalonia we have a strong community, international community developing graphene. So this is part of what we want to keep working on. Part of the goals of this community will be to support the technology transfer to industry, to bring research closer to commercialization. And obviously one of the KPIs, one of the key performance indicators that we are going to be showing is also, for instance, the generation of spin-offs, but also transferring the technology. So the consortium of GraphCAT is composed of full members and what we call associate members and industry. The beneficiaries of the consortium are one of the largest, few of the largest research centers in Catalonia. We are talking about ICN2, ICFO, IREC, IFAE, the UAB, Eurecat, CNM, IMIM, BIST, and also IDIBAPS. And also we are very happy to count also with associated members and industries who are following very closely the developments and exploring whether we can bring these technologies closer to commercialization. The consortium expertise, or the the technologies, the projects that are part of GraphCAT have been built based on the consortium expertise. We have experts in photonics, nanotechnology, in advanced materials, in microelectronics, in biotechnology. So from all that combination, we created 4 major clusters that would comprise all the projects. So the cluster of biomedical devices, there's a clusters in energy harvesting and storage. There's a cluster on the integration of graphene with silicon Cmos technology, and there's a cluster that explore the use of raw materials and membranes, right? So this is like the structure of GraphCAT with the coordination of the administrative coordination of ICN2, the dissemination and valorization of ICFO. ICFO is in charge of organizing this event today. And then there are like these 4 clusters, as I mentioned, and all of, in general, we have like a 4, so we have 4 clusters and 10 projects, yeah? And there are different leaders in charge of each of the clusters. And these are some of the projects that we are going to be describing today. And we hope that this is an event that would allow us to interact a bit better within the community and also outside the community. So a few numbers about the socioeconomical impact of GraphCAT. The total budget of the project is around 4 million euros, and the duration initially was from 2018 to till 2021, but we have got an extension till 2022. And these are just some few of the numbers that we can share with you in terms of well, the number of patent applications. We also interested in pushing dissemination and valorization activities like the one we are attending today. We are very proud also that there are already two spin-offs companies, INBRAIN Neuroelectronics and QURV Technologies, that are also part of the community and will be talking today. And yes, we have about 15 associate member and industry looking and closing to what GraphCAT is doing. Yeah. So today is just today and the 15th of April we will have two community building events. The idea is like well, all the members, the collaborators, and the associated members are together, can interact and can explore how new activities can be built based on the current program. Yeah. And with this, I would like to thank you, and I also would like to give the stage to Frank.
Okay, excellent, very good. Thank you, Jose, for this nice and brief overview. First of all, I want to also thank people behind the stage that worked hard on the organization of this, Ilenia, Alba, and Alex, and Irene, who's coordinating this from Vierli. So thank you very much. And what I clearly see in your slides, Jose, is that this is a really unique community, and I think we need to recognize this. There's no place in the world where you find this combination of expertise in one place. You can go to the best places in the US, or you can go to UK Manchester, which is the graphene hub. Still, you don't find these 4 different expertises concentrated in one place at such a high level. That is creating spin-offs, that is creating lots of patent applications. I see 7 patent applications for a budget of 4 million euros. That's really remarkable. So I think we should be proud of that, but we should recognize this and take this as a real opportunity to continue this community. This project, this GraphCAT, is just the beginning, I hope, for something more to come with bigger projects, bigger budgets, and more spin-off companies. So I hope that everybody here that is joining this meeting will feel motivated to keep moving and growing. And so also please keep lobbying within your institutions, with funding agencies, with philanthropic organizations, because we need more support in the future. Maybe more support will come from Catalonia, but also other sources. So I'm very happy to see this, and let's keep working on this community. Let's have a nice day today. So thank you very much.
Have a nice day and enjoy the day.
Thank you very much, Jose and Frank. And with this wonderful introduction and all these good wishes, we are gonna go to the next phase. We are gonna get to know all these projects they were mentioning. And next part is GraphCAT innovation projects that we are gonna get to know from some of the people who are working on them. We are going to start with Neurograph, and the person who is going to present this project is going to be Eduard Masvidal. We've been working with all of them, so I hope you enjoy these presentations and you learn a lot about these projects. Neurograph with Eduard Masvidal. Thank you, Eduard. If you could share your presentation with us.
Yes, good morning. Can you see my screen?
Perfectly.
So I'm Eduard Masvidal Codina, and I'm presenting today on behalf of the Institute of Microelectronics of Barcelona, which is the coordinator of the Neurograph Project. The aim of the Neurograph Project is to advance in the clinical translation of graphene microtransistors for monitoring of cortical depolarization waves in neurointensive care. In healthy conditions, neurons produce transmembrane gradients of ions that generate a membrane potential. In the case of an injury, this membrane potential is lost, and normally this happens locally in the brain, in what is called the core. It has been observed that these depolarizations propagate across the cortex. In this event is called a brain tsunami, and this produces a transient suppression of brain activity and also massive changes in perfusion. Importantly, it has been shown that brain tsunamis occur in high incidence in many brain diseases or injuries, and therefore it's very important to monitor these waves and tsunamis in the clinical setting. Nowadays, this is performed by strips, cortical strips of metal electrodes. However, they suffer from artifacts that hamper the correct identification of the waves. The aim of the project is to use graphene technology that has already been shown to be able to record with high fidelity brain tsunamis and to map these waves, how they propagate through the cortex, and to map the duration and the heterogeneity in different brain regions. So Neurograph has put together a multidisciplinary team formed by 2 technological centers that are in charge of the development of the neural arrays to monitor brain tsunamis, and also to develop electronics safe for the human's applications. It consists also of 2 neuroscience institutes that are in charge of developing preclinical animal models of brain injury, and also the project is formed by a hospital that is providing clinical guidance to both the technological and the neuroscience groups. So this has been a short, brief summary of the project, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eduard. That was exactly 3 minutes as we asked, so wonderfully made. And now is the turn of Graf Retina. We are get to know this new project, and Stephen Walston is the person who is going to explain how Graf Retina works, what are the challenges and the solutions they are approaching. So, hi, Stephen. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Yes.
If you could share your screen with us, perfect. We can see it perfect. So, your turn.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. My name is Stephen Walston. I am with the Catalonia Institute of Nanoscience and Nanotechnology, and I will be presenting the Graph Retina project. But before I begin, please consider the amount of visual information that you consume each day. Your ability to view and understand this presentation is a testament to your sense of vision. However, for some people affected by retinitis pigmentosa, their sense of vision is slowly stripped away, so they completely go blind. They lose the ability to see their children and to navigate the world independently. This disease is caused by a degeneration of the light-sensitive photoreceptors in the back of the eye. It affects over 15,000 people in Spain and 1 in 4,000 people worldwide. Currently, no cure exists for this disease. The goal of the Graph Retina project is to develop an advanced retinal prosthesis technology to restore vision to these blind individuals. The retinal prosthesis functions by having a camera take an image of the outside world, convert this image into a pattern of electrical stimulation that is sent back to a microelectrode array that is situated on the retina in the back of the eye. This microelectrode array will stimulate the retinal neurons to generate a visual sensation. There are retinal prostheses in the market that currently provide visual, the restored visual function. However, the quality of the image restored is not always very clear. The goal of the Graph Retina project is to make it obviously clear what you are seeing. So how do we do this? We have assembled, the Graph Retina team has assembled is comprised of the ICN2, ICFO, IFAE, and the Barraquer Foundation to tackle this challenge. The ICN2 will produce graphene-based microelectrode arrays to interface with the neural tissue. ICFO will use these microelectrodes to assess their ability to stimulate the retinal neurons effectively using advanced imaging tools. IFAE will be developing wireless microelectronics to provide power and data transfer to the implanted implant. Barraquer Foundation will utilize their surgical expertise in implanting retinal devices in the eye to guide the clinical evaluation. The Graph Retina team, the combined efforts in nanoscience, nanotechnology, will guide the Graph Retina project through the grueling process of preclinical validation in order to develop the next generation of advanced retinal prostheses to restore vision, high quality vision, to patients afflicted by retinitis pigmentosa. With that, I would like to say thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. That was wonderful. So thanks for making it so visual and making us understand the big challenge between in front of vision. Next project is going to be Graph SIM. And although we know Aníbal, Pedro, and all the team has been preparing this presentation, I think today we are going to be honored hearing Aníbal Pacheco explaining what's the project about, what's Graph SIM about. So Aníbal, if we are here, welcome.
Thank you.
Pedro, you are also here with us, so it's up to you if you want to share or you want to go on with Aníbal. If you could share your presentation with us, perfect. We see it perfect. So it's your turn. So please go.
Thank you, Irene. Good morning, everybody. I'm Aníbal Pacheco, presenting the GraphCAT project on behalf of the device modeling group at UAB. So, graphene field effect transistors have been demonstrated to be suitable for analog and RF applications. However, the fabrication of graphene-based mixed signal integrated circuits is still a challenge due to the lack of bandgap of this material. Silicon technologies can overcome bandgap-less related issues in integrated circuits, such as switching and voltage swing that are required in certain stages of the circuit. In this way, a hybrid three-dimensional graphene silicon Cmos IC technology has been proposed, in which the digital stage is Cmos controlled, while the RF or analog blocks are based on graphene devices. For the graphene devices, we need models which fulfill a reasonable trade-off between physics-based and practical features, so the simulation tools can be used to design complex circuits. In our group, we have developed a graphene simulation tool. It consists of numerical and compact models describing experimental data and providing feasible performance projections. A set of main models embracing fundamental internal physics of the device under DC transient AC noise analysis is already available. Subsequent models include non-idealities, which can also affect the static and dynamic performance of the device. From a fabricated device, we obtained experimental data, and we can characterize it with our compact model. The compact model is an engineering representation of internal physics of the device, and it includes circuits and simple equations that can be read by the circuit simulators. With our models, we have already obtained accurate descriptions of experimental data under DC transient and AC analysis, are also the noise properties of the device. A physics-based and practical working compact model is an exciting achievement at a device level. However, more exciting are the incredible possibilities the circuit designers can create with it. For example, RF amplifiers, frequency mixers and multipliers, oscillators and modulators, and subsequently, they can even propose entire RF systems with it. Our goal in GraphCAT is, of course, to contribute with our models to create hybrid graphene silicon Cmos IC technology within a collaborative research framework between technology, modeling, and circuit design groups. We, the device modeling group, will continue with the improvement and maintenance of the models, but we need to participate and collaborate actively with fabrication groups and circuit design experts. An iterative loop with continuous feedback among all members will lead eventually to the fabrication of a reliable and reproducible hybrid graphene silicon Cmos integrated circuit technology for analog and RF applications. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aníbal. We are here in backstage with all the presentations, one after the other, so sometimes we are busy with 3 things at the same time, but it was a wonderful presentation. Thanks a lot. And now we have to go and see the next project. Next project is Program Mas. And unfortunately, Raúl couldn't be here with us today, but he's prepared a video. So instead of listening real time, Raúl, we are going to see the video that very careful he's prepared. So.
Good morning, I'm Raúl Menajes. I'm working in the Program Mas project inside the GraphCAT community of Catalonia. This project is led by Pedro Gómez and supervised technically by a spin-off, Earthdas and Graphenica company. Why we choose graphene? Because graphene, as you know, from its properties, it can be used in different in different industries, like in this case, in lithium-ion batteries or batteries and supercaps industries. But not only that, graphene has been proposed and investigated to work in different technologies that has different applications and has different timelines. But this, in each application, has its own qualities, graphene quality requirements. Perhaps in one application we need single layer graphene, but in other we need a bulk 50 grams of graphenes to succeed in the application itself. But what is true is that the graphene production globally is being increasing over the years. So what are the objectives of the programmer's project? To obtain a cheap graphene process by a top-down procedure. Upscale this production process, sorting different graphene qualities, and make this process in a circular way to get it even cheaper. Our process is putting all the graphite and the precursors in a vessel to make the magic and get graphene. Then we can separate the precursors for one side and make the particle sorting in the other to obtain the quality of graphene we want. The products we don't like or we don't want, we can recirculate to the first vessel to obtain to make the process again. Where are we now? We are at the 50 grams lab scale, but we want to upscale at least one order of magnitude by using this machine. Not only that, we are aiming at obtaining and control different graphene qualities to go to different industries for even given to the given qualities they want. So thank you very much. We are waiting for you and collaborate with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul, Programas team and ICN2 team, because I know it was a collaboration from all of them. This event is very collaborative and it's going to be a lot of participation as well. So here we have one of these results from all this collaboration. Thank you. He wasn't here, but we got to know Programas project. Next project is going to be AquaGox 2. And this is the project that Ana María Pérez, Bea Corzo, and Karim Florencio has been working on the presentation. But today, due to technical issues, we are going to be able to connect with Bea Corzo. So Bea is here. Hi, Bea. And Ana María is also here. Hi. I don't know if you had problems with your audio or you are fine. If you want to present both of you, or it's going to be more Bea, whatever suits us. I would like to ask you now if you could share your presentation, and I think you have a video, but that's up to you. If everything is ready.
Irene, I think that we can share first of all the video because it's 3 minutes. And for that reason, maybe it's the most suitable to do. Okay, I have here the video, but I'm not sure if you can see if...
Whenever you say we put it, look, it's
okay.
Now on the screen and it's on.
I think it's now.
El reto del proyecto es la fabricación de membranas basadas en materiales innovadores para mejorar las que existen actualmente en el tratamiento de las aguas residuales. Los sistemas actuales de tratamiento biológico con membranas llevan asociados un coste elevado tanto energéticamente como de mantenimiento. Nuestro objetivo es reducir estos costes con la fabricación de nuevas membranas nanoestructuradas basadas en materiales de 2 dimensiones que van a conseguir mejora en la permeabilidad, en la eliminación de los microorganismos y luego además en las etapas de lavados. Al inicio del proyecto lo que se ha hecho es un estudio bibliográfico de las membranas para diseñar un plan de experimentación que se centre en las principales operaciones que existen, en realizar nosotros unas hipótesis y luego en validar las hipótesis que hemos realizado. Se realizaron las primeras pruebas en un setup básico que consistía en un quitasatos y una bomba que trabajaba a succión. Paralelamente, estas membranas se caracterizaban mediante espectroscopía Raman o mediante SEM para comprobar las nanoestructuras de las mismas. Una vez validadas nuestras hipótesis, lo que se realizó es llevar estas mismas membranas a un escenario real de una planta piloto con membranas internas de MBR.
La planta piloto construida e instalada en ICFO nos permite realizar experimentación en continuo y manejar una mayor cantidad de parámetros que reproducen mejor el escenario real de lo que ocurre en una depuradora. Se ha diseñado para comparar el rendimiento de una membrana comercial que se usa como referencia con el comportamiento de nuestra membrana con tecnología Aquavox bajo las mismas condiciones y así evaluar de manera objetiva las mejoras que aporta. Las variables que estamos evaluando son la calidad del filtrado, la energía necesaria para hacer pasar el agua a través de la membrana, la durabilidad y resistencia química y mecánica de las membranas y las necesidades de limpieza debido al ensuciamiento orgánico que se pueden depositar en ellas. La idea es hacer una evaluación global del rendimiento de las nuevas membranas en modo continuo de operación y el funcionamiento en condiciones semirreales. Esta planta piloto nos permitirá probar una media docena de membranas diferentes, cada una en operación durante aproximadamente un mes. Esto es para poder seleccionar las membranas que cumplen con los parámetros de rendimiento preestablecidos y que, por tanto, pasarán a la siguiente fase de experimentación trasladando la piloto a una planta real.
Probar las membranas sintetizadas y su escalabilidad en un entorno real siempre asegura que los resultados obtenidos puedan replicarse en las grandes plantas depuradoras. Cada vez más se está apostando por tecnologías de membrana para aumentar la calidad del efluente de las plantas de tratamiento de agua residual y fomentar la reutilización de este agua en aplicaciones municipales, industriales o en agricultura. La planta piloto de Aquavox se pondrá en marcha en los próximos meses y captará agua real de la salida de los reactores biológicos de una edar municipal de más de 100.000 habitantes.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing this video. I don't know if you want to add some few words.
No, bueno, now we are working in IFO, as you see in the video, in the large scale phase, and in the next few months, the main goal will be taking this pilot plant, shooting the video to real treatment plants.
Perfect. Thanks, Ana Maria. Thank you, Beatriz.
Sorry, because the video it was in Spanish, but I think that most of you can understand it.
Thanks, both of you. And let's go on to the next project. This time is Autograph, the project we are going to get to know. And it's Luis Martinez Soria who is going to explain how this project works. So welcome, Luis. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. If you could share your presentation with us.
Okay. Perfect.
We have it. We're going to be seeing it soon. Here it is. So it's your turn. Thank you very much, Luis. Go ahead.
So I'm Luis, working on ICN2 in the Autograph project. And this project is dedicated to the development of new graphene-based supercapacitors, which are electrochemical energy storage systems. These graphene-based supercapacitors are aimed to power an autonomous device with sensors governed by ultra-low power consumption electronics. So these images at the left, you can see the electronics, and at the right, you can see different cells that could power these electronics. The one inside the yellow circle, it's a fourth kind of cell that is a coin cell. And in this project, we are using the one at the right, which is called a Pog Cell. Okay. So this is a Pog Cell where the magic will start with the black powder in the electrode. And you have finally the Pog Cell at the right, which will power your electronics with the graphene supercapacitor. So you can see here, so first show that graphene is good. And well, this is I think most of you will understand better this course, but graphene degree, it's better than the activated carbon, that it's a commercially available supercapacitor material that is used. Okay, so finally I want to thank you, the partners of the project, ICIQ, IREC and Eurecat, for this work. And yes, thank you for your time. Graphene is very nice, and we can make a lot of things. Okay. Bye.
Thank you, Luis. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your presentation and this ending. We are gonna go on, and we are gonna hear from the last project. The last project is called Integro, and Nina Carretero is the person who is gonna present this project. We have Nina here. Hello, Nina.
Everyone. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. I don't know if you've prepared a presentation, if you want to share it with us.
Yes, I have it.
Okay, so you go to share it. And if you can share it with us, then we'll show it to the
Can you see it?
Couple of seconds. Now we can see it. It's here. In the previous one, someone said that that it wasn't 100% clear. I think you put presentation mode, and we'll be able to see it.
Yes, I think so. Do you see it now?
Perfect.
Okay. So you're welcome. I'm going to present this project, which is called Integro, Combined Perovskite Solar Cell Graphene Electrode for CO2 Reduction. It is developed in IREC, also with the collaboration of IFAE. So the main objective of this project is the development of an artificial photosynthesis device, which is going to be built by the combination of a photovoltaic cell, in this case made of perovskite, which is going to be developed in ICFO. These kind of materials have a low cost and high voltage and efficiency. And also, we are going to combine this solar cell with a catalyst, which is going to be based in graphene. So instead of metal, which are the usually common materials for this kind of application, we are going to use end-doped graphene to introduce the effects on the catalyst and to make the CO2 reduction happen. This device, the photovoltaic electrochemical, it will be fueled by solar energy, and it will work at low voltage, less than 2.4 volts, and high Faraday efficiency, more than 80%. So these are the goals of our project. So at the end, we will expect to have a solar to full efficiency of more than 10%. The activities are summed up in this point, which is I'm going to explain more in detail in these points, in this slide. So the first point is the synthesis of end-doped graphene and the electrode reduction of the CO2. So the electrode reduction of CO2 to other products, it's a very well-known reaction. And the kind of product that we can obtain are a lot of them. It depends on the quantity of electrons that the CO2 molecule can take. So the most easiest products that we can obtain are syngas, which is a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen, and formic acid. So we are going to be focused on syngas, which is a precursor of many chemical products by, for instance, the synthesis of methanol, but via Fischer-Tropsch reaction. And the different steps in these two first steps of the project is that the production of this end-doped graphene, which is going to be a very simple thermal annealing in ammonia of this graphene. So with this precursor, then we will prepare the electrodes, which are a simple method of broadcasting. And in the third step, we will put this electrode in the cathode part of an electrochemical cell, and we will bubble the captured CO2 from the atmosphere in the cell, and we will reduce this CO2 with the help of some electrical energy, which can be come from the photovoltaic, aeolic, or other renewable sources, and we will obtain the CO2 reduction product like this thing as I commented before. So in ICFO, in parallel, they are going to make a perovskite photovoltaic cell, which are they have a very high voltage, and it's easily to make them at large scale. So with the combination of this perovskite and this electrocatalyst, we will make this device, which is the goal of this project, to work only with the solar energy to convert the captured CO2 into solar fuels. So this is it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your presentation, Nina. And with you, we finish all the projects we wanted to know a little bit more about. So it's been 7 projects: Neurograph, Graph Retina, Graph Sim, Programas, Aquagox 2, Autograph, and Integro. Thank you very much to everybody who presented and all the teams who are working in this excellent research and work and implementation. Now is the time to get inspired. We are going to go to a new section. We are going to hear people behind the spin-offs. We are going to be so lucky to hear these talks, these inspirational talks about the spin-offs. We are going to start with Korff Technologies, and Antonios Economou is going to be the person who is going to present this spin-off. Antonios, we have you here. Welcome, Antonios.
Yeah.
And hey, if you could share your presentation with us.
Sure, I'm doing shortly.
You have
Is it there?
It's perfect. It's here.
Okay.
You have a little bit more time, and at the end, we'll be able to get to know some extra details by the questions that the audience can send us through global chat. So if the audience have questions, remember, you can write them down in global chat, and I'll try to transmit them to Antonios, but that will be after his talk and probably after another talk. So your turn, Antonios.
Sure. Thank you very much, Irene. Yeah, first of all, I really appreciate being invited in this event. It's always a pleasure to be among like-minded people, graphene experts, and enthusiasts. It might be wise, as it is the first time that I meet the GraphCAT community, maybe to say a few words about my background in the graphene space, if you like, almost a decade. Starting my journey from the University of Manchester, where I did my PhD, but quickly moved to that interface of academia and industry, always excited about how to bring a technology out to the market, as I believe it's one of the most efficient ways through spin-offs and early stage projects to impact society. I was also involved, lastly, in the facilitation and the definition of the international standards on graphene to align stakeholders in the industry. So that's enough for me. Let's jump to QURV, which was recently created. Is almost 10 months or 8 months, years old. It was created last summer in the middle of pandemic, together with a fantastic team, Stein Gossens, the CTO of QURV, and of course our world-class advisors, Frank Coppens and Gerasimos Konstantatos, with the very mission to augment machine perception by sensing the invisible light. So my talk would be split into 2 main, if you like, themes. The first one is to understand the context behind QURV, our existential grounds, if you like, and then to see what might be the potential impact to society with that technology. So let's take a step back and all align on how imaging, materials innovations, and the needs that exist in a society, in the adjacent markets, play together. So it was not until probably 80 years or so ago where the first mass-produced way to capture images was marketed by Kodak. And the reason really, it was to cater the need for people to capture moments, memories, and take pictures, nice pictures. Moving forward into time, we see that the digital age emerges together with another trend, which is computation. And what we really have is now going from a chemical-based technology, which is the film, to a electronics-based. And the reason is not only to increase the longevity, if you like, of the pictures that humans capture, but it's also to do something more with these pictures. It's the first time that we start treating them as data. We want to process them, we want to analyze them better, and we want to, if you like, take advantage of more information that are hidden in these pictures. Soon after, there's a breakthrough again in the manufacturing process, where is the introduction of Cmos technology, or probably the commercial introduction of Cmos technology for image sensors. And at that moment, we see that there is that leap, if you like, towards using image sensors in every product. Just imagine that at the moment there are 8 billion sensors shipped every year, and 80% of them are dealing really with high volume markets. And now we're having that image sensor capability in our pocket. However, that second trend, which is the computing trend, and you can call it AI, you can call it machine learning, doesn't really matter, it's computation, takes off as well. So what happens is a paradigm shift from capturing pretty pictures to sensing, depth sensing, localization and mapping, object tracking, object identification. And what we really see now that the image sensors are targeting machines and not human consumption. So how do we react to that megatrend? At QURV, we believe that we have to reinvent now image sensors. We have to go to the next leap on manufacturing and materials, which will allow machines to gather more information from the environment so they can improve their decision making. That means that the very model of having an image sensor to capture what we see as humans with our eyes needs to be extended, and extended to other wavelengths, we believe, at QURV. So we developed a platform technology from the material level to the component level to the electronics and the system, where we can identify now wavelengths from the ultraviolet to the visible to the near infrared, shortwave infrared, with the potential to extend it further. So you might wonder, what is the implications of such a technology in real life? And I will use two use cases of our platform technology, which align perfectly with the activities that took place in GraphCAT. So first, in the automotive. What is impressive here is that at the moment, there are 8 to 12, one can find up to 12 image sensors in a car. However, these image sensors, as I said before, are operating a similar way that our eyes operate, which means that in low visibility conditions do not really help the driver. And what we see in statistics is that 40% of fatal road accidents happen in those low visibility conditions. You can name it fog, heavy rain, or low light. Now, what can happen if we extend the wavelength and we operate in a wavelength that is beyond the human capability, as we have demonstrated in the past, is that due to effects such as reduced scattering or interference with the ambient light, now we can see through these obstacles, if you like, or these conditions. And you can only imagine what is the impact in the increase of safety of a passenger. Similarly, on these extended wavelengths, it is possible to identify, to see, if you like, the chemical signatures of a material, and why that is important. So let's take the example with counterfeit drugs, which are responsible for 1 million deaths yearly. And it's not only the 1 million deaths, which is sad by itself and shocking, but is also responsible for a cost of $21 billion per year. Funds that will be used for the development of novel treatments, of novel drugs, or infrastructure. Now, again, what we envision, what we see is that with having an image sensor that can see beyond the visible, in our pocket, our mobile phone, our augmented reality headset can recognize those ingredients, those toxic ingredients, or counterfeit drugs, something that has been also demonstrated. You might wonder how we do that. So it's 3 key ingredients that at QURV we use. The first one is silicon, the Cmos technology with silicon, and that acts as a scalable, it's a proven technology, scalable technology, and is the base of our cost performance, if you like, levels that we can reach to deploy these sensors in mass markets. Then we bring together 2 other ingredients of our magic sauce. This is quantum dots and graphene. Quantum dots act as a very strong, extremely good absorber of light, which is tunable depending on the wavelength that we want to identify. And graphene, on the other hand, as you all graphene enthusiasts know, has extremely good charge sensing capabilities. So together, these ingredients create this novel sensor that can be deployed in mass, widespread computer vision applications. Closing, I would like to share some good news that made us all very proud at QURV recently, which was the award of the best imaging technology in 2021 by SEMI Europe, one of the largest, if not the largest, semiconductor alliance and consortium with industry stakeholders of the likes of IMEC, ST Microelectronics, AMS, and so on. So these are pretty exciting for our validation, give us courage to move and push forward. Lastly, I would like to call everyone that is interested to find out more, would like to connect, discuss about graphene or what we're doing in QURV. Please feel free to drop me a line. This is my email, or find me through LinkedIn. I would be more than happy to discuss. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Antonios. Thank you very much for your inspirational talk. As I said, we are going to get to know 2 spin-offs. So QURV Technologies was the first one, and the second one is going to be INBRAIN Neuroelectronics. Carolina Aguilar is going to be the person who presents this second spin-off, and when she finishes, we'll have some time to propose you the questions the audience is sending through the chat. We have already here some questions, but I encourage all the audience to send all their questions through the chat. Welcome, Carolina. Hello, good morning.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful event and the invitation.
I think if you could share with us your presentation, we'll put it so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
And your presentation is here. Perfect. Now we have a perfect view. So your turn, Carolina. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. We are INBRAIN Neuroelectronics, and we are very happy to participate in this event. First of all, I would like to explain you who we are. And we are a graphene flagship spin-off from partners ICN2 and ICREA, with IP resulting from our collaborative efforts also with University of Manchester. And we are very, very thankful to all these partners. What we do is very simple, decoding brain signals into medical solutions. It sounds simple, it's not that simple, but this is our mission indeed. And although this is a mission that we have, and it's quite new because it's done via graphene, the team that we have put together to achieve this mission is quite of a very, it's a collection of experts with hundreds of years of accumulated neurotech expertise. So you might have heard about Jose Garrido and Costas Costarellos, which are actually the founders of INBRAIN and have been leading the biomedical applications package of graphene flagship. But that we have put together expertise coming from the industry, like Barraquer, which is our Chief Technology Officer, and together with Michelle founded Sapiens Steering Modulation acquired by Medtronic in 2013, and then going into other startups like Onward, it was GTX Medical before, and others, right? And in my case, I've been 13 years within Medtronic, 10 of which we were leading the deep brain stimulation business in Europe and also the global commercialization. So we want to make sure that not only great and academic ideas stay on the bench, but they actually come to the market, to the bedside of the patients. And we always thought about, okay, what comes first, the problem or the solution? Because indeed, you know, there's a lot of researchers and they're amazing, but sometimes research is great to have a great paper, but never make it to market because probably the solution was not there at the right time. So we thought ourselves, you know, why graphene? What does graphene actually bring into the neurotechnologies field? And I wanted to give you an analogy. When we were talking about mobility as a problem back in the days, in 1895, there was already electric cars that looked exactly the same as combustion cars, right? But the problem of mobility required probably combustion cars at that time. They were more efficient and they were solving better that mobility problem. Although, as you see, they were looking the same and they were already there. So the great invention was there, but nobody decided to use it. Now, why electric cars are just picking up 35 years later? You know, some visionaries are way too early and the problem still doesn't exist, or they don't know how to solve the problem of the time. Now, if we look at what has changed on this problem of mobility, and we now couple with climate change, we see why 35 years later, electric cars are coming up, and also, you know, with that consumer mindset, Elon Musk is making it happen. Well, we believe it's the same in neurotechnologies. You can have a very visionary technology, but if it doesn't solve a problem, a big problem, it's not really going to work. So we thought about what is the real problem to solve in neurotechnologies. And of course, it depends on the area of neurotech that you look at, but we were looking at brain disorders. And we were seeing, okay, 1 out of 3 people still suffers a brain disorder. And out of those, 25% are refractory to drugs. So they don't have any alternative, right? So neurotechnologies should be a great and wonderful alternative. However, 50% of the patients that are suitable and are being offered a neurotechnology therapy or a neuroelectric therapy, they reject it because they believe they are very invasive. And also, we have not been able to prove that it really works the same from patient to patient, right? So there is a high outcome variability in many cases because the interfaces that we have today are made of metal, platinum and iridium, wonderful material, very well tested and safe, but with meaningful barriers to solve. So this little resolution is one of them, and that's why we can explain, and also targeting and so others, you know, what outcomes vary from patient to patient. So why graphene can be part of the solution and why we believe is the ideal brain interface? Well, most of you are already engaged on that, so I don't have to explain you why graphene and how it was originated. But in our case, we see that because it is small, it is very powerful in terms of strength, it's an excellent conductor and is biocompatible, we can have very good qualities there for what we tend to do, which is really deliver the next level of brain recording and stimulation at ultra high resolution, right? So what we are really doing with graphene is going to the brain. We are targeting for now the motor area, and we are looking at biomarkers that with metals are hard to find and how to decode into medical solutions, right? So that's why we believe we have a precious material here. And this is work from many people, and it's in preparation for publication. It's being led by Jose Garrido and the team. And what we were doing is actually looking at graphene compared to metals. So this is animal interfaces that you can find commercially available. And we were placing these grids into the auditory cortex of a rodent in this case, evoking a sound, a stimuli, and seeing the response that we were getting in comparison with metals. And what you can see here is that graphene has definitely a much higher resolution, detecting local field potentials, but even multi and uni activity, which is being the mission of all brain interfacing, youth arrays, and so on. Now, if this was, instead of a sound, an epileptic seizure, metals could barely detect it, and therefore we could not stop it, right? So this is why we think that we have an amazing tool here that can give us capabilities that metals today cannot give us, and therefore seeing new brain biomarkers and signals that we can decode into these medical solutions. Now, this is more the scale-up approach from the rodent, and here you see 64 graphene dots of 25 to 50 micrometers, which compared to regular platinum electrodes of around 5 millimeters is 10 to 40,000 smaller. So now you start seeing what can we do in the brain with this, right? And therefore, we are looking at cortical applications and deep applications, because at the end we want to understand the circuits and how they connect to each other in a way that could not be done before. Now, this is great. We can do miracles with this material. However, this is an ecosystem. To implant nano things, we need nano robots. And those are some of the limitations today, that the ecosystem needs to evolve at a similar parallel pace, because when you are in a startup, you don't have money like Elon Musk to develop first the robot, which costs 150 million, and then all the neurotech material, right? So in our case, we are focusing on what is available today that we could feed into the surgical workflows, and then have a vision to innovate that when surgery also evolves in parallel tracks. And of course, we are contacting other amazing startups. That's on recording. Really quickly on stimulation, as you might imagine, to have a therapy, you have to interface with the brain. So not only read what the brain needs to tell you, but also send a feedback back, actually, to interface with those networks. Now, we have compared Ignite, which is our INBRAIN material, with other materials like platinum, of course, PDOT and tin. And what we see here is that with a much, much higher charge injection, so we are talking platinum, 60 micrometers, 0.0 millicoulombs per centimeter square, versus 8 millicoulombs at 25 micrometers. What we see is that the behavior of platinum and INBRAIN actually are similar, which is great. We know platinum stays for long periods implanted in the brain without any difficulties. So mimicking that behavior was really great. However, we are doing it at less than half that the sizes that we use in platinum with a much higher charge injection. Whereas when compared to other materials like the one from Elon Musk declared on the white paper from Neuralink, they break. Now, great that you can read, but if you cannot stimulate or you cannot interfere with those circuits, the therapeutic capability is limited. So we are very encouraged by these results, meaning that graphene can be a super stable material for stimulation without degradation within the brain. Yeah? So with this, what we believe is that we could demonstrate superior impact in neurotechnology, solve a big problem, which is helping these people that don't have any alternative, especially on closed-loop central and peripheral neuromodulation applications, with higher signal specificity, superior chance density applications, and a much more efficient battery management. I mean, maybe saving from 50 to 90% of what regular technology is doing today, all with a super power data-driven strategy. With that, I would like to finish. We really believe that collaboration is the new innovation. We are not only innovating on the technology front, we want to innovate on the HR front. I mean, really build a teal or let's say a evolved organization that is also able to collaborate in ways where people probably is not collaborating today. You know, people collaborate until the money is there, and then when the money is there, they usually take parts away and they work on the things. We believe that we can create new models if they are not there to really drive this collaboration and not reinvent the wheel every time we work in new therapy. So we are very happy with our current partners. We are looking to new partners. And as we always said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So here we are to find these wonderful partners and keep innovating in all these fronts.
Thank you very much, Carolina. Let me invite again Antonio. Thank you very much, both of you, for your wonderful presentations and inspiration. There are some questions from the audience, and the first one is for both of you. In your opinion, what are the key ingredients for establishing a successful spin-off? I don't know who wants to start, or if, because that is also, no, it looks like a simple question, but it's not that much. As Carolina was saying at the beginning, it looks simple, but it's not.
If I might say, from our perspective, there are a couple of things, actually 3 things. One is, of course, the innovative approach, right? The idea. It has to be a revolutionary good idea that is worth pursuing, because at the end, we are dedicating the best years of our lives on this, whereas we could do other many things. So we have to have the desire and the passion in believing that what we are doing is creating an impact. Second, you have to have an incredible team that is not only looking at the academic part of the technology and the innovation, but also on ways to industrialize it, which is a complete different ballgame. I tell you, when you go into GLPs, animal studies, you know, you have to start documenting. You have to start doing many things that you absolutely don't have to do in the academic world. So the standards on the regulatory bodies and the regulatory paths are really, really high. And therefore, you have to have a suitable team that has that perspective. And the third thing is really collaborations. At the end, we cannot do anything without partners. So customers, I mean, users, patients, providers, these are key elements of the equation. And without them, we don't also get anywhere. So really make sure that we are thinking beyond the academic world, which is great foundation and the place to start, but soon to go beyond in order to bring it again to the bedside with the patient.
Thank you very much, Carolina. And Antonios?
Yeah, I would echo Carolina. I would say, especially on the team aspect, it's really important to have that team that extends beyond academia. And I would say that team is expected also to change and change shape as the company goes through different phases. It's one thing to get it started. It's another thing to scale it up. But I would also like to say that the identification of a market need early on is really important. It is really important. It's much more important, I would say, from the technologies. What probably Carolina said on the beginning of her talk about the problem and the solution, and the identification and some sort of traction early on with partnerships, especially on these deep tech technologies that can, if you like, increase the confidence of other stakeholders and collaborators, so that collaborative environment can be built is really important.
Thank you very much, Antonios. This is a new question also for both of you. Two people presented in a different way, but I think it's more or less the same. So I'm going to read all of them and then you make a max mix, because they ask, how do you think a community like GraphCAT can help you? What is the main value for startups like yours? And someone else also asked, how do you think that a structure like GraphCAT can facilitate the creation and success of new spin-offs? What kind of benefits do you get from it? So it's not exactly the same, but they are similar questions, so I'll propose to you together.
Antonios?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. The first of all, the question of how GraphCAT can help a spin-off. I would say it's all about planting the seed for an ecosystem. So we see that you can see ecosystems, let's say in London or in Silicon Valley or in Berlin, depending on or in Israel for imaging. So having these initiatives as the seed of an ecosystem, where then talent can flow through the companies back to the institutions, strengthen more the expertise of these institutions, not only in depth but in breadth as well. It's very important because a spin-off will have to. When a product goes towards the market, will be different aspects that one has to deal with, not only the core technology. I think that is the most key influence of a GraphCAT type of community.
Perfect, thank you, Antonios. Carolina, you want to add something, or you agree?
I could not agree more. In neurotechnologies or in our ecosystems, US is really, really strong. China, it's coming really, really strong after that. And we need to make sure that Europe is also developing the talent that needs to meet the ambition. So creating this ecosystem and the talent to populate all this innovation is key, and otherwise it wouldn't be possible.
Thank you very much. This question is for Antonios. How do you tackle reproducibility issues in the Cmos graphene devices, if any? Do you have your own model for the graphene devices? And is Aníbal Pacheco who asked.
What was the last part, if there is?
Do you have your own model for the graphene devices?
Well, it's a good question, and obviously I cannot give many details. Yes, we have our own models, but I would be happy to discuss with him offline as well. I would say that we tackle the. Of course, it's not there. It's not on the ideal place, but this is more of an engineering problem rather than a fundamental problem. It's a problem that one has to solve towards scaling up. We have our tricks with the electronics. Obviously, I think he understands well how we would do something like that. And of course, we have our own know-how on how we integrate graphene and how we can control as much as possible the quality variations from batch to batch.
Okay, thank you very much, Antonios. You know, Aníbal, if afterwards you want to chat with Antonios or you want to have an offline conversation, he's open for that. This new question is for both of you. Your spin-offs are based in Catalonia. Was it a good idea? Is there anywhere else in the world where you would like to undergo such an adventure?
I live in Switzerland, actually, which is also a very good place to be. But I see a lot of great companies moving into Barcelona specifically. Here we have Nestle, as you might know, by the yogurts and many chocolates. And they actually moved their innovation center to Barcelona as well. The whole innovation center, all the Nespresso capabilities. You see more and more this happening because Barcelona has a very unique ecosystem. It's just not a great city to live with all the perks that the city has and the sea, and it is also a great place to create a good balance between talent that is attracted by the city and the ecosystem, investors that are concentrating there to support this innovation, and also, let's say, the labor market, which is at a very decent level where you could have the right also financials for the startup, in a way that we will also increase and develop all these people, including their salary bands, as we become a super European or worldwide reference in neurotechnologies, for instance, in our case. So our ambition is use Catalonia at this platform, but really come to the levels of Europe and the world in terms of how do we develop talent and how we develop even salary bands, in the sense that everything has a balance, but is more on the European benchmark than the very local Spanish benchmark, I would say.
Okay, thank you, Carolina.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much aligned with what Carolina said. I would like to add that we see these spin-offs as global companies, as international companies. So I don't think that someone has to choose really, between a city or another. Might be benefits, as Carolina says. It's a great city. It attracts talent. It combines some aspects that talent finds attractive. Might not be the incentives from, let's say, regulatory framework or policies might not be that advanced, let's say, like in Israel or US or in UK, but it's always, a trade-off. But I would say the bottom line is that, yes, you can be here, you can start here, grow here, and then expand elsewhere. You don't have to be only in one place.
Well, that's very good. And Frank was also at the beginning in the introduction saying that this is a special place. So this idea of here and in the world, it's a nice message. We have one last question. Maybe we might have a final question, but this one comes for Carolina. And they say that for INBRAIN, recently expansion, the economic newspaper published that you are competing with Elon Musk. Is it true? How does it feel?
Yeah. Well, I guess we are, right? And he's using. We have similar ambitions. We want to stay more therapeutic. He probably, in the long run, would like the minds to drive the Tesla, which is a nice idea. But in our case, we want to stay really therapeutic. And yes, we are approaching the brain, both of us, with innovative materials. As I mentioned, he declared PDOT to be the material he's using at the moment on the white paper of Neuralink. And we have seen that the stability of PDOT on the stimulation capabilities is far inferior to graphene. So in a way, we are competing. He has a lot more money. I don't think that is a secret. However, we are very happy of the experience and the knowledge that we do have and that we put together, combined with the support that we got from our investors, the European Union, and all the researchers in our ecosystem, which is quite unrivaled. So I guess we are competing, and we just need more incredible talent to win.
Thank you very much for this sportive answer. No, I think it was very cool. It looks a little bit like in the sports, you are really competing with ideas and this enthusiasm, collaboration, which feels very good. There are no more questions, but I don't know if you want to add something else to conclude these wonderful and inspirational talks and answers that you've been giving. That's your last opportunity.
Yeah, probably I would like just to add what I already said at the end of my presentation. I would be more than happy to connect with people in this community and discuss further. I think this is a key ingredient on brewing, if you like, that talent and trying to facilitate that growth.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Antonios.
And just from my side, be very proud and always remember that graphene and everything around graphene is increasing the competitiveness of Spain, Barcelona, the European Union, So keep doing what you are doing, because this is the future, right? It's the present, but it's also the future of our competitiveness and the future of our future work environment and the future generations. So I guess it is our responsibility to keep nurturing and making a true success.
Thank you, both of you. It was wonderful. Thanks again. And now it's time to move a bit more, because we are reaching to the final part of this event, at least from this morning. Then, you know, we have a 2 hours workshop from 12 to 2. But before that, we would like to hear how is the dissemination and valorization plan thought around GraphCAT. And to get to know that, we are going to be able to talk with the people who are working on it: Alba Rosado, Nuria Bayó, Alex Argemi, and Clara Barreneche. Sorry. They are all here. We have them all here. And so we are going to be sharing the screen. Now it's going to be our turn. That's here. And Alba is going to start. And I'm going to disappear because I'll be at the end asking you more questions, like we were proposing to the Clara and Antonio's. So Alba, is your turn, and those are the
okay. Thank you, Irene, so much. First of all, take advantage of the momentum, because I think that we enjoyed a lot the previous session, and it's an honor for me to try to keep up the level of energy of the session. And actually, I'm going to start taking one of the metaphors that Antonio was using, because the goal of this session is, first of all, trying to identify what's the DNA of this seed for the GraphCAT community, and then how we are going to water it so that it can like have the branches and the flowers and everything, and that we can indeed shine. And then the idea of this session is, we were telling you, this is a community, so it cannot be a unidirectional way of communicating, but we need a lot of feedback from you, because we want to plan activities that are really worth for you, that really fit with your needs and helps us all expanding and improving and getting at a better position. So the idea of this plan that we've been working together with ICN2 and BIST, and now you're going to see the faces of the people that is behind of this workforce, is first of all nurturing the graphene community in Catalonia. So, well, actually the starting point is even one step backwards. We need to know who we are and what makes us special and why we are singular, right? And this also, now moving to Frank's words in the introduction of the session, we have already achieved remarkable KPIs and results, also considering that we have a pandemic on us that did change a lot of our plans. But we have this very special environment, and we need to take the most out of it. So we want to expose our community to the outside stakeholders, name it industry, but also research community. And also, talent is another of the keywords that we can extract from the previous session. So we want to educate the next generation of graphene technology practitioners. And now we are going to tell you what are the specific activities that we have designed. And not only that, but afterwards, you will have to provide us with your feedback for these specific activities that we're going to tell you about, with the polls that you see at the left. But Irene will tell you more details afterwards. So what's our strategy? What kind of activities we are thinking of? First of all, this kind of co-creation events that will help us getting to know our peers, The other members in our community are also our collaborators, because you know that there are a number of companies that are related to and are working in the projects of our innovation plan. And also we are going to organize a number of training sessions and seminars, bringing talent and bringing excellent research from all around the world. Also, we are going to organize events and participate in events that will allow us to disseminate our community and the things that we are doing, our technologies, our pillars, and so on, and also finding collaborators. And this should help us aligning with external and with other relevant initiatives that will help us having the means for manufacturing, for instance, or getting more funding, or any other needs that we may have. And at last, we are also producing some educational materials that will help us not only attracting talent or finding the talent now, but also in the coming future, right? So this is also very important. Now, if we go, Irene, to the next slide, I'm going to jump very quickly into the community building actions that we have defined. Actually, the first part, and could you please zoom a little bit in? Sorry, I'm short-sighted, so okay, there we go. So yeah, there are a number of co-creation events like the one that we are having now with this feedback session, and also after at 12, where we are going to have this workshop for actually defining the scope and the priorities of the industrial events that we're going to organize. Considering the fact that graphene is very transversal to many applications, we have our 4 pillars to zoom in, but still we need more focus, right? So you are the ones that are going to set the priorities for us to consider in the definition of these events through these co-creation activities that we are organizing. Also, we are trying to help you identifying the fundraising opportunities that you have at your disposal, and ideally trying to do matchmaking between the partners that are preparing proposals, and hopefully also putting some other partners in these consortiums. And also, we are going to organize a number of training activities, as I was telling you. And now I give the word to Nuria, that will complete the information about training.
Thank you, Alba, and good morning, everyone. So it's a pleasure also to present these proposals that hopefully this session also will receive your feedback and will extend the proposal according to your needs. So the proposals are specifically to provide you with a specific training to cover your needs. Some of them have been marked in the registration form as negotiation and licensing technologies, prototyping, and also definition of business model. Also, in this session, will emerge other needs, and we are happy to provide you with the right offer. Also, we're considering to provide you with some actions as mentorship. So we're creating a mentorship program at BIST level, and we are happy to expand this program to the GraphCAT community, having a special focus for the career development and also for career transitions. Then also, we're considering to organize a winter school, so they are more like scientific exchange knowledge for you to create community, to exchange how are the projects evolving, and to provide you with some scientific advanced knowledge and also technical skills. Also, we have the summer schools. This is more focused for research community, for PhD postdoc, to create community, to give you some tools for transferable skills, and also to create community and provide you with training to solve challenges that the GraphCAT community may have. And from my side, it's done. Alex, now is your turn.
Thank you, Nuria, and hello, everyone. I'm also glad to be here to share with you how we are planning to approach another key audience, which is the research community. And as you can see on screen, we have a threefolded approach with 3 kinds of events that we envision that might be useful to spread the word about GraphCAT and create new opportunities. The first one is this open symposium, which will be linked to the winter school, but the winter school is something more internal. And what we plan to do in this open symposium is to bring in some key actors, some champions from Spain, from abroad, to share their knowledge and to share opportunities with us. So it's going to be a beautiful event. Please stay tuned, because it's going to be a good one. And then we plan to participate in other external signature events, which is the second point. Some good examples are, for instance, one thing that is happening this week, which is the Clustering and Global Challenges 2021. It's a symposium organized by institutions from Barcelona, Grenoble, and Tsukuba in Japan. And, well, GraphCAT is sponsoring this event. Professor Jose Garrido yesterday had the opportunity to present it to a lot of institutions that already know each other, but maybe didn't know about GraphCAT, and now have this bright idea that in Catalonia, a lot of things are happening around graphene. Another example is the Graphene Conference Series. It's a well-established event happening every year. And in fact, we have a long history from ICN2, ICFO, BIST of working together to be there in this event with a booth and with talks and with a lot of researchers. And in fact, last year, we already planned to attend it under the umbrella of GraphCAT. But as you know, bad things happened. We had the pandemic, and it went to a fully online event. We still went there. We had our digital booth, and maybe it did not have the great impact we expected, but we learned a lot of things, and we plan to attend the Graphene Conference 2021 that might take place physically in Grenoble, but if it's going to happen online, we are ready to make the most of the GraphCAT money and use this opportunity to show your work and show what's happening in Catalonia. In fact, last year, Frank Coppens was the one that could explain the event to the scientific community attending it, but we also promoted job positions, and we were talking about the beautiful things you are doing. On the other hand, we have a huge collaborator, a huge partner, which is the Graphene Flagship, and we plan to collaborate with them in some of the future events they are organizing and try to show this beautiful brand that we share, GraphCAT, in events organized by the Graphene Flagship. Finally, the other kind of events that we envision are the seminars that are already happening. All the institutions, the companies might be organizing scientific seminars, tackling issues related with graphene and its application. And we invite you to brand them with the GraphCAT image to inform us about what's going on so that we can promote those events and use them to make a stronger community. All of that we plan to do to spread the word about the expertise and the opportunities happening in Catalonia, happening around GraphCAT, and if possible, to bring in new actors, new opportunities, new knowledge to share with all of you. And I want to close by reminding you that you are key actors in promoting the GraphCAT brand in all your everyday activity. So please tackle new opportunities with a high self-esteem, because we have a lot to offer. And don't forget to use the GraphCAT logo and the proper hashtags to tag all your communications to make the most of the funds that the European Union and Catalonia are putting on the table. Thank you very much. I think that Clara has something else to share with you about the industry approach.
Thank you, Alex. So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Thank you also to the speakers presenting the project and the spin-offs. That was a great start, and to both IPs responsible for this whole initiative, Jose Garrido and Frank Coppens. So I'm very pleased to be here and share with you the next step, which is how do we interact with industry. So as you know, one of the main goals of the EU funding for this kind of initiatives for emerging technologies is really about the impact of science in industry. In other words, how the European Commission wants to put an emphasis in how can they provide us with more tools to achieve this translation, to this transferring of science and technology into the real world, into real solutions and market applications. How can we help basically science to resolve and provide solutions to real problems? So we have seen, and Jose Garrido mentioned that we've actually reached some milestones. We've seen 2 spin-offs, a great spin-off speaking about it. We have some of the projects collaborating with industry already, and we've seen some figures that 7 applications have been achieved. But we believe there is a huge potential to increase this interaction with industry. And we want to focus on 3 main initiatives, as you can see on the screen. So the first one is clusters. We do actually have in Catalonia, in our community, we have between 30 and 40 clusters, existing clusters. Some of them already collaborate with our partners. And we, according to the main 4 areas that you've seen this morning, in which all the 10 different projects have been classified, we do have these 3 clusters collaborating. So we have advanced materials, we have photonics, and we have automotive industry clusters. We do foresee also potential collaborations with other very active clusters, such as water or energy efficiency or health in particular. So we want to, our idea is to really look for increasing this collaboration with these clusters, maximizing it so that we can have a win-win relationship with them. They are part of our community. We believe we can amplify this collaboration. And in the end, the goal for these clusters is really to increase the innovation and competitiveness of their own members. So definitely there's a strong synergy here that we want to explore by understanding their challenges, their priorities, showing them what we are doing from the GraphCAT community, and looking for potential actions that will help us all and help us also building this ecosystem that we were talking about before. The second action is building a graphene open days for industry. This is how we call the 2 main events that we want to organize. One would be this year in the fall of 2021. Another one would be towards the end of the GraphCAT initiative in the spring of 2022. And we are envisioning these 2 events like platforms where the GraphCAT community will be able to interact, will be able to explain our own projects, our own technologies, science, also needs, and bring in the industry to showcase, to help us understand these needs, understand what solutions they need, and therefore to develop a series of actions that can help these 2 communities, us, the industry, to find ways in which we can support each other. We will have a session shortly, actually, to further discuss and deepen into this opportunity. And the third action finally will be the collaboration, as Alex was mentioning, with the Graphene Flagship and collaboration with existing events. You all know the Mobile World Congress event as the top event, really leading event in the industry, with over 100,000 visitors yearly taking place in Barcelona. Almost 500 million economic impact and a huge presence of industry. So we want to take advantage of that. And we are envisioning in 2022 taking part of this event within the Deep Tech European space and exhibiting GraphCAT prototypes. So just to end up, as Frank Oppens mentioned, this is a quite unique community, including a huge part of all the graphene players in Catalonia. We want to strengthen this community and keep growing and keep lobbying, as he said, to maximize its potential. So I think now, Alba, you will be speaking.
Yes.
The floor is yours about General Society.
Thank you, Clara. I'm finishing this first block of the session by telling you about the actions that are targeting the General Society, which is an important target audience for us. Don't forget that we're dealing with public funds, and therefore we have the responsibility to return our contribution to the society and also for the next generations. So first of all, we have like regular social media channels. Actually, we are trying to use Twitter, and we have these hashtags that you all should be using, FederRecerca and GraphCAT. Please help us and help yourself for the upcoming justification reporting, economic reporting, and produce material and tell the world about the activities that you are organizing that are related to GraphCAT, the seminars, the events that you are participating, and so on. Also, we have a new platform, the website, that probably you all have already seen because you were registering to this event and the post was there. We have refactored the old website that we had, and it has now like a fresh look and feel. And also, we have produced a press release that was sent out yesterday with the occasion of this event, and also to put like our placeholder in the world and saying that we are here, that we had this community event, that we have these very nice results already, and our 2 spin-offs. And we are going to produce some videos where you will be featured. And last but not least, could you please zoom a little bit in? Thank you. And last, the education. So we have already produced some materials for schools. We were collaborating with M Schools initiative from Mobile World Capital and Generalitat de Catalunya. And also there is this Nano Educa kit that ICN2 has produced. And we are very active in the mentoring of projects from high school students. Actually, to date, we have mentored more than 50 projects. So we hope that it will really make a difference in the sense that they will have access to these deep technologies and to this field from very young stage, and hopefully this will promote their volunteer to follow this career, and it will be talent available for us in the next years. So this is what we have designed, our plan, and now it's your turn. Now we need your contributions. We need you to tell us how we can help you more, and Irene is going to explain you how you can do that.
Thank you very much, Alba, and thank you all of you for presenting this dissemination and valorization plan. Here you have just a really quick summary to have it in mind. No, we've heard the goals, the strategy, the audiences, community building, research community, industry, and general society. And as Alba said, we have prepared some questions for you to participate. In order to reach those questions, you have to go to polls that it's on the left side, and if you click in polls, now you'll have the first question running. They are asking you, what is the main goal you will choose for the GraphCAT community plan? Alba was mentioning some goals. I don't know if you want to use those goals that she was mentioning at the beginning, or you have your ideas, but she was talking about nurturing the graphene community in Catalonia, raise awareness from industry on graphene-related technologies, and educate next generation of graphene tech practitioners. So nurturing, raise, or educate, or maybe you have some other proposals. You could enter the word, you could enter short words, and then we'll have a word cloud. I don't know if you are thinking about these goals, what is on your mind, what do you think is the most important goal that GraphCAT could achieve. It can be one of these three, or maybe it could be another one. We also heard spin-offs talking about being the seed. Maybe the goal is to be the seed for a whole ecosystem. That could be a good goal as well. But we need you to participate, entering your answers through like, for example, we'll have our first word. Very good. Thank you. Visibility, education. Thanks for your participation. We'll give you a couple of seconds more because we have more questions about what do you think about this plan? Thank you. Visibility seems to be an important one. Industry link, education, valorization, talent recruitment, very good. And with these answers, we'll move on to the next question. Do you feel, it's here, do you feel there is a type of audience that has been left out? Which one? Why? Maybe you don't. You feel that all the audiences have been approached. If you feel that that's the case, then put perfect, okay. And if you feel that there is an audience that it's been left out, then please say. Just have to type the answer in the pool, and then we'll get the answers here. Don't be shy. Think about it. We've been talking about internal community. We've been talking about research community, industrial community, and general public. Engage with business schools in the area. Okay, thank you. That's Elon Musk. Okay, thank you. Those are good answers. As well, we give you 30 more seconds because maybe you were still thinking which community you think we should also try to approach. But fundraising entities, okay. And we are gonna move on to the next other R+D clusters, research and development clusters, and industry. Okay, 5 answers. Thank you very much. We close this one, and this is a bit harder. Mark your preferences for the training courses. Here we have some options. How to properly define a datasheet, fast prototyping, licensing, other topics on tech transfer, definition and identification, supply value chain. Program ask could be material for suppliers, demos on how to design circuits for graphene devices. Graph SIM was explaining also this. From academia to industry, same quality, same standards. In fact, Carolina was saying that no, that it's very different. Okay, we have here the answers. Licensing is one of from academia to industry, same quality and standards. Carolina was already pointing that that's important. Demos on how to design circuits for graphene devices, Graph SIM. Aníbal was presenting, and he was also asking questions to Antonios. Licensing, it's also very interesting for you. Definition and identification, supply value chain, fast prototyping, and probably how to define properly a data sheet is the one that has less. That doesn't mean that it's not important, but it's not that much of a priority. Thank you very much. We got a lot of answers from this one, so thanks a lot for your contributions. We are going to stop now this question, and we are going to go into the next one. Is there a course that you would like to add that we haven't thought about it? And if you want to write the title or the content or something related to this course, and if you could also add into brackets, if you are a postdoc, if you are a PhD student, if you are an IP or a knowledge technology transfer, because it also helps the team to organize specific courses for a specific target. So if there is any training course that you would love to go and we would like them to organize one, because that would help you a lot. Now is the moment to mention. We have 1 minute to reply this question. Very good. Oral presentation skills communicator. Very good. That's very necessary when you work in innovative projects and you have to share them with training and how to create a spin-off. Don't be shy. Now it's like your time. It's like you are writing the letters for the 3 kings. So we don't know if all the answers will be able to be addressed by the team, but at least we know what are your needs. So it's easier for the team to make decisions and to get it right and to make meaningful training courses, as Alba was saying, and Nuria as well. She talked about training courses. Technology transfer. Okay, we are gonna give you a couple of seconds more. Matching people experience with companies. And okay, so 30 seconds more. We got a new one. Technology transfer, it's been posted twice, I guess, for different postdocs that they are really interested in that. And let's move to the next one. What contents would you like, or speakers, if you have someone who is really inspirational for you, will you like to propose for future seminars? Contents or speakers for future seminars? See if we can get the best. And we don't know if they will be able to bring these speakers or address these contents, but they'll try because they'll know your needs and wishes, and that helps when you are making decisions about how to implement a strategy. So now is again your opportunity for all your wishes. You don't have many wishes, that's good, because you won't get disappointed. Here you can write words and then send them, and we'll also can have a word cloud with your proposals. But it seems that you are happy. Okay, then, so let's move to the final question. Mark your preferences for the clusters involved. Clara was talking about the clusters. Those are the clusters that they have been identified. And we would like you to choose what are your preferences, what are more related to your projects or to your initiatives. Optics and photonics seems to be the most spotted one. Catalan Bio and Healthcare now is changing. Catalonia Bio and Health Tech is still with advanced materials, the both more voted. This is changing. We give you a few more seconds. I know this was quick, but it was an intense morning from 10 to 12, and still we have a lot of things to address. So we don't have a lot of time, and we have to be quick because we want to cover many, many things. We want you to have a very complete experience. And okay. Advanced Materials and Catalonia Bio Healthcare seems the most voted ones, together with Optics and Photonics. And then energy efficiency, automotive, and so I think we are gonna leave it here with these final results, and we are gonna let it open just in case someone wants to comment on this one. I don't know if I can run two at the same time, because I will also like to put the one with the trainings. No, it changes. Okay, so I will leave the last question. It was open, just in case someone wants to still contribute. And I think it's time, because we have just 1 minute left, so we are running to the end of this part. Remember that then there is a second part with all the knowledge technology transfer team to co-create how they are going to be those events, those open days for industry, as Clara was explaining. But before we go to that, we would like Jose Antonio Garrido and Frank Coppens to close this first part of the morning, these 2 hours. Then we'll have a very short break of 10 minutes, a bit less, five long minutes, and we'll be back. But that's going to be after Jose Antonio Garrido and Frank Coppens close this first part. We have Jose here. Hello again.
Hello again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So
Frank, so
yes.
Hello. Your opportunity to wrap up.
Okay, so I have a couple of things. Can you see the screen as well?
Yes.
Okay, good. So first, just to conclude the event today, I think that it was very, very successful. I mean, there were very strong messages during the event. No, we started from all the researchers discussing about the innovation projects, and so what we see what could come in a couple of years in front of us. So I think that it was very useful as well. Then we went through the inspirational talks of the CEOs of INBRAIN Neuroelectronics and QURV, so Carolina and Antonios. I think that they were also inspirational, and it can give an idea to the younger members of the community about how and what could be like a nice target to be in a couple of years. So it's also a testing for the maturity of some of the projects of the GraphCAT community. And then we also have been listening to the leaders on the communication and the valorization programs. What we want to do? What are the targets of the community in the long run? No. So finally, I think that also the session about the feedback was actually quite useful. No, I think that it will help us to tune the offer that GraphCAT can provide, and in the current version of the community, or even in the future version, if we manage to extend the support of the government for the community. No, so I just wanted to mention that about the new event, that the upcoming session that is going to happen during the 15th of April, so next Thursday. So in this session is going to be slightly different. We are going to be learning about some of the upcoming calls in Horizon Europe. So, and in particular, how these calls or how the projects that have been presented here can fit in some of the calls. So this is going to be led by the BACS company. So they are going to, teaching us how to be successful in Horizon Europe with the current project. And also we are going to be listening to the most relevant, or one of the few of the most relevant European initiatives, like the 2D pilot line, which is one of the relevant initiatives of the graphene flagship at the European level. But also we are going to be listening about the standardization services of the graphene flagship, and also from some of the private organizations, act fast about photonics and and optoelectronics. No, so I think that next session, community building session on Thursday next week is going to be also very useful, very promising, and I encourage all the audience to attend to this new event. I don't know, Frank, if you want to say anything.
Well, I want to say thank you. I found it inspirational. I saw also lots of questions, especially in the session of the spin-offs. And it's clear we are building locally an ecosystem. This is really crucial. And I also hope that the researchers that are participating in this community online will stay in this ecosystem. So it's part of building it and at the same time being part of it. So that's what we have to do. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Irene, again for the organization. Has been very lively and dynamic. So thank you very much.
Thank you to all of you. And finally, I left one last question that it's, do you have any more proposals? That's on the pool. So if someone wants to make a wish, because I felt that you were a bit shy with the wishes, here you can say whatever you want and we'll try to get it, analyze it, and see if we can help. Well, that was the first part of the morning. We are 5 minutes late. We are sorry for that, because we know there are people who are waiting for the next part, the co-creation workshop. This workshop will start in around 5 minutes. We'll try to have just 5 minutes break. So any needs, water or hungry or any needs that you have, you try to do it in those 5 minutes. And 10 past 12, we'll meet in the same platform, but you have to go to rooms. That's on the left. And in rooms, you'll find KTT interactive activity. That's where you have to go, and from there we'll have all these activities set up, and we'll have another 2 long hours discussing and talking and building about how these open days for industry must be. So we see you in 5 minutes. Okay, see you soon.